Next topic is Power Query Editor. So far we have seen how to connect to various source systems, database, SQL Server, and also we have seen Excel file, JSON file, and CSV files, and OneDrive, GitHub, how to connect. Now what we will do is we will jump into the Power Query Editor. In Power Query Editor, we can perform ETL task. What is ETL task? E stands for extraction. One second, I just go here. I just write it here. So ETL, we can perform ETL tasks using Power Query Editor. So what is ETL? E stands for extract the data. You might be asking this one, extraction, do I have to use Power Query Editor? I have clicked on the get data. Yes, using get data also you can load it. You don't need to use Power Query Editor, but being inside the Power Query Editor, you can pull the data. Extract is something like pulling the data from your laptop or from OneDrive or GitHub, SQL Server, Azure SQL Server. I will give you the demo later, because if I start use it, they will charge me in my card. Okay, but anyhow, I will show you that one also later point in time. Not much difference. Okay, how to pull the data from cloud, all the things, right? You can do it without Power Query Editor itself, but inside the Power Query, so you can pull the data. Okay, and this is the important task: transformation. How to transform the data. You can perform all kind of data transformation, but if you want to perform at a scale, huge volume of the data and very complex data transformation, it is not possible. Importantly, if you are working with a huge volume of the data, obviously you have to use a direct query mode. In that case, you have a lot of limitations. You can use only the simple data transformation only, right? In the case of direct query mode. What is TT is transform? What do you mean by transformation? Data transformation. Like I said, to create a report, you need to have the data. Yes, I have the data, but how clean the data is? Is the data complete, or whatever the values that are there in the columns are consistent or complete with the data? And also, are there any duplicate records are there? In case of duplicate records present in your data set, you need to make sure that you are going to remove it. If you don't remove it, what will happen? It will do the double counting or triple counting. If you have multiple duplicate records for a single instance or single invoice, right? Obviously, it will show more sales. So actually, the sale is not much. Since you have multiple records, it will wrongly show you that you made higher sales, right? So hence, make sure that you are removing the duplicate records. Having the data alone not sufficient. Make sure that data is clean. It doesn't have any duplicate records. Not only duplicate, in case of any missing values, you need to address it. Okay, but there are some cases, if you have duplicate missing values in your data set, you need to perform imputation, data imputation. This is the term, if you have already attended the data science training, you might be knowing this term, data imputation. You need to fill the empty values with some meaningful value. For example, you have a price column. In the price column, there are some transaction, you don't have the price, blank value is there. In that case, you need to do the data imputation. The first thing what we do is, if you find blank values in the important columns, business columns like price, quantity, obviously we need to ask the stakeholders. We can tell them that this data is not useful because we can see a lot of missing values in price and quantity. This is the one you need to do it. Okay, don't hesitate. Upfront we can tell them, so we can find blank values on the price column, and in the quantity, and even sales amount also we can see. But we have price, we can see price and quantity, but on the sales amount column we don't see any value, missing values are there. There are cases price and quantity, if you multiply it, you will get some number, but when you look at the sales amount, it is not reflecting the correct thing. For example, your price is 1,000, and if you multiply, let's say someone bought 1,000 products. You just think that way, okay? It's supposed to be how much? 6. Unfortunately, the 10 got truncated. Okay, it got truncated. This is also problem. Okay. Sometimes when you eyeball the values in the data, right? Immediately you can find out. Hey, how come this is 3360 supposed to be there? How come only 5 zeros are there? There's something wrong here. So if you find any obvious problems like missing values or these kind of thing and inconsistent values, what do you mean by inconsistent values? For example, I have something called region column. The region column, we have something called Southeast region. But in the Southeast, region, there are few staffs. What they do is they put SC instead of Southeast. In that case, what will happen is if you wanted to find out the total sales by region, the same region sales amount will get distributed under these two different names. And you might tend to think when you look at the sales east alone, right? You might tend to think the sales is not happened well. But when you take a deep dive, you will get to know that someone, instead of using the Southeast, they mentioned SC. Hence, part of the sales went into this thing and part of the sales went into this. So, an accounts guy, right? They put different code or something like that, right? The amount may get assigned to different accounts mistakenly if they don't follow the consistency. Ideally, all the users supposed to have Southeast. Some staffs they use AC. In that case, what happens? Some sales went here, some sales went here. In that case, it will show you, it'll downplay your sales performance. Okay, make sure that the values are consistent. Don't blindly jump and create the report upfront. As soon as the data gives somebody gives, don't go ahead and create the report. You might be very good in designing compelling, visually appealing reports and dashboards. Okay, that doesn't mean your report can have any value. If you have wrong value, if it is not showing the accurate number, like this, right? Right? What do you use? Your dashboard design is awesome. Everything is good. You have used a nice background image. Everything is fine. But if it shows wrong value, what is the use of the report, right? They cannot make the right decision at the right time. And also there are cases you need to do some kind of encoding. Okay. For example, in this case, SC is there, and to address this inconsistency, wherever SC is there, replace it by Southeast. Okay, and there are some columns, if you have null values, blank values, you can replace it with 0. But you need to double check with your customers. Before you replace a null by 0, double check with them. Can I replace the null with 0? If they say okay, then you can go ahead. Okay. And okay, see, there are some cases here. In the sales column, you can have 0. But quantity price, you have some value. Sales column can also have 0, right? When it can have 0? You might be wondering, quantity column, I have some value is there. For example, 1,000 is the price is also is there. How come sales is 0? Maybe return, they would have returned the product, right? So maybe they put some additional transaction, something like that. There's something credit note, debit note, right? As accounts guys, you might be knowing it. So you need to make sure that you have some domain knowledge, and in case of any issues, obvious issues, you can check with them and then make sure that your data is clean and everything is in the proper shape. Only then you are supposed to go ahead and create the report. Before even you create the report, when it comes to Power BI Desktop, you need to do the data modeling very well. So data modeling, I will cover it. One way it is good in Power BI, the mandate data modeling needs to be done. Those people use Tableau and ClickSense, they don't have to do the data modeling. Data modeling is not specific to Power BI. It is a common, generic concept. Even if you develop a website, web application or mobile application, you develop any application, you need to have the data model design in place. One way you are going to learn it. I'm going to talk about it after completion of the Power Query Editor topic. Okay, this module, once I'm done with it, I'm going to touch upon. We'll take a deep dive there also. Okay, and now to deduplication, remove the duplicated records, and you need to replace the null by 0. In case of encoding, we use a term called encoding. Data scientists, they use a term called encoding. In case you have something called F, organization standard is, replace all the M by male, all the F by female, or opposite. Okay, male to M and female to F. This is enough. Okay, so that the storage will be less. Okay, and the formatting, wrong data type assigned. You remember in the sales column, the values, one value got mixed with the dollar, and the numeric value 1, 2, 8, something like that. This is in the sales column. You are supposed to have the numeric value. Along with that, in case of any special character like a dollar or any text value mixed up with this one, the entire column will get assigned the text data types. This is not specific to Power BI. You take any programming language, even in Python. In your data set, if you have the mix of the numeric value along with some text or the character, like this is called dollar special character. It's called unique character, Unicode character or something, unique character or Unicode. Okay, unique character. So in that case, entire column, even if you have one value in a column like this, entire column will get assigned with text data, right? And next one is character set conversion. Okay, you need to change the data type. Okay, for example, you have the date column is there, and the text data type assigned, convert to date data type, assign the proper data type, and then unit of measurement conversion. Okay, sometimes you need to convert the unit of measurement. Okay, and filtering. So you don't need the entire data. Only select the specific records for your analysis, and splitting a column into multiple columns and joining the data set, because nowadays the data are not available in a single source system. Multiple source systems are available. For example, I told you, you are a manufacturer, you want to buy raw materials. Before you want to buy, purchase the raw material, you need to do analysis, pricing analytics. So you are soliciting the quotes from various vendors. They are sending the quotes, but one vendor is sending the prices in XML file. One guy is sending the data in Excel file. Other guy, what he does, hey, in our org, we have exposed our product prices as an API. Okay, so you need to, here is the API. You can access the API anytime, and you can pull the data. So that you don't have to send a request, whenever you want to buy it. You can use our API, and whenever you want to see the price, you can see it. So the data are available different sources. You need to pull those data, and then you need to store it in a common single table. Once you store all the different types of data into a single, for example, a table, right? XML data and JSON data, EDA data, Parquet data, everything, if you pull it and then store it in a table. Once you store it in a table for all the vendors' prices, and then if you go and create a report, and if you do slicing and dicing, right, you can perform the extensive analysis, right? So you need to link all the data, because data are not available in single sources. Different vendors give different data. Okay, and again, in the case of organization, they are using different applications. Salesforce, for CRM, they use Salesforce, and for financial, they use Oracle Financials, Oracle Project, using ERP, right? The different source system, they store the data, everything. And within the enterprises, for example, Walmart, big companies, right? And different locations, branches, they operate in islands. If they wanted to get the unified view, obviously, so for example, in the San Jose, right, in that branch, Walmart, what they do is they use Tableau, and the central region they use Power BI, and other region they use Oracle database. Different within the same enterprises, different branches, they use different data set, different software applications. In that case, you need to pull all the data to get the. Let's say you are a CEO, you want to get a complete view. Forget about each branch. I want to see all the branch put together. What is the total sales we made? If you want to see that, you need to obviously have. So in that case, you have to merge the data. These are the common data transformation we perform it. Apart from, there are some cases we may have to create some derived columns. Okay. In addition to the existing columns, you need to create additional columns. For example, whatever the data you get it is a raw data. For example, order transaction data, you have it. But in that data set, you have the order ID and order date, and then SKU ID, SKU, and you have customer ID, location ID, region key, and store ID, store key, and the unit price, and then quantity, and then likewise, right? You have various columns are available, but you don't have the net sales column available there. Discount column is there, tax column is there, but you don't have the net sales column. You don't have the net margin column. Okay. You don't have the cost price, but the cost price is in another table. You need to pull the cost price from the product dimension table into your transaction table. Okay. Likewise, you need to, join multiple tables. You need to do lookup on some table to pull the data from your dimension table to your fact table. Fact table is nothing but your transaction table. Don't ask me what is fact and dimension. I'll explain you as part of data model. Okay. Sometimes, I'm okay to explain, but thing is, what will happen, you will get confused. Okay. So these are the common transformations. See, in the interview, they'll ask you, as part of your project, can you please explain me what kind of data transformation you did it? You can tell them upfront like this. We splitted the column. Can you tell me why you need to split a column into multiple columns? So in our data set, the state, country and state name, they mentioned in a single column. In that case, we wanted to split the country separately and the state separately and put it in a separate column. Okay, next one is what kind of formatting you did it? Can you tell me the data types, right? In our sales column, we have the Power BI, it assigned the text data type, and we have to address that because with text data, you cannot perform any arithmetic operation. Okay, so in that kind of situation, we need to convert the data into the sales column data into numeric data or decimal data type, but you cannot do it upfront. It requires some kind of cleaning. Okay, you need to address it. You need to remove the dollar, and then you need to, in case of any blank values, or replace it with the zero, and then only you need to convert the decimal data type. Okay, apart from this, what kind of other formatting? For example, in our date column, we have something like a month, date, year format is there. But what happened, we are using an API. Sorry, we are using an API. That API requires the date format should be year, month, date format. So in that case, you need to format it like this. Okay. So only when you format like this, and when you use this API can pick up this value, and then it goes and get the currency rate for that specific date on the specific month and year from your exchange rate website. Okay, because you are operating across the globe, multi currencies you are using it, right? End of the day, you want to convert all the currency into your common currency. For example, your base office is London. They use pound, right? So they wanted to get a sense of they have a retail store scattered across the globe. In that case, they wanted to know all the locations put together, what is the total sales that I made it in pounds. In that case, you need to convert all the currencies into common currency, pound. So in that case, you need to use the API. So in that kind of situations, right, you need to format the value, something like this. Okay. So these are the things, duplicate records removal. And even they'll ask you, how about blank records? When you get blank records, what you do? When I get blank records, I'll just take a look at this. And if I have a blank record, if I find anything in the column which we don't use it, and we will simply ignore it. But however, we will inform it to our stakeholders, key stakeholders. Okay, during the status call, we'll inform them, and also we'll send an email to them. Okay, and whatever the observations related to data related issues, we will be sharing it with them. Once we get their buy-in, we will go ahead and create the model, data model, and then we create the report. Okay, this is how you need to answer it. What kind of data? These are the things we did it. Okay. And okay, what are the other things? Appending the data. So this is another thing, appending the data. Since there are cases we may have to append the data. For example, you have you want to do generate a monthly sales report. So in our company, what they do is they store week on week data on a single file. This one will have week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. But all the files columns are same. The order of the column also same. But to generate the monthly sales, you need to append this data with this one and this one with this one and this one. Okay. So that all the 4-week data will be in a single file, or you can do it this way. Okay. You need to append it. So you need to append it. You can tell this one also as part of your data transformation. Okay. So filter the rows, conditional columns, duplicate records removal, and date formatting, creating new columns, derived columns. Like I said, net sales. How do you get the net sales? You need to subtract the discount, whatever you gave to your customer from your sales column. And then, right, and then again, for some loyalty, because of loyalty program, there are some customers, they want to redeem the coupons, whatever you gave it, or loyalty, as per loyalty card, you've given some kind of, they have accumulated some kind of points, right? So in that case, you need to exclude those things to get your net sales. Okay. And columns from example, this is a different thing altogether. These are the commonly performed data transfer. Apart from this, there are some business specific logic you need to implement it in order to do the data transformation. Okay, enough talk about the E and T, extracting the data, transforming the data, and L. Once you transform the data, like remove the, let's say I remove the duplicate records, and then I have created a bucketing. So what do you mean by bucketing or binning? Can someone tell me what is bucketing or binning? What is bucketing or binning? I'll discuss it a little later, don't worry, okay? So bucketing, binning, and all we do it, right? Conditional column as part of that. So all the data transformation we did, this basically data pre-processing. Most of them, they use this term. Instead of saying data transformation, they use the data pre-processing. Once you pre-process the data in the required format, you need to load that data into your model, our model, and then you are good to go with creating the reports. Because your data are clean, you formatted everything. It's simple example. For example, you bought all the vegetables. That is your data. Data is available. If you have vegetable, is that sufficient? You need to bring it to your kitchen, Power Query Editor, and clean all the vegetables, and then cut it in the proper shape, and then mix all the recipes that are required. This is called your pre-processing. Before you start cooking, do all the same way we do it here also. We need to pre-process the data, because whatever the data you have, it is not in the proper format. You need to pre-process it, and then you need to do data transformation, and then you load the data. So, or you pre-process data and then load it into a model. Okay, and then you do the data model also. Okay, so E stands for extract. This one is transformation. This is for load. Got it? Fine. Using Power Query Editor, we can perform transformation and loading. ETL, we can do it. Fine. In the Power Query Editor itself, that's what I said. In the Power Query Editor, we do the data transformation, cleaning everything. That's why I referred in the very first session, the Power Query Editor, I called it as a kitchen. Okay. That is where we do all data cleaning, everything, because that is where they've given a lot of features. With the point and click itself, you can do the basic data transformation. Okay. You don't have to use any script, all the things. Okay. Another question. Okay. Oh, okay. Got it. Thanks. That is okay. Fine. The question was, I just read it for the benefit of everyone. The question from Pooja was, where do you do the data transformation? You do it in Power Query Editor, or where do you do it? So we do it in the Power Query Editor itself. Okay. What do ETL process in Power Query? Whatever I explained so far, that is the one we are going to do it in Power Query Editor. Okay. Whatever. See, I explained you what we need to do when it comes to data. All these things we are going to do with Power Query Editor. Okay. We do ETL in Power Query Editor. Power Query Editor is your kitchen. That is where we do the data cleaning, ETL. Okay. Get data. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load some data, text. Now what we will do is we will first explore the data. Once the data get loaded, as soon as the data get loaded, don't jump and create the report. You need to explore the data. This is what we do it as part of artificial machine learning also. Okay. Data exploration, we do it there also. Hit load. So this is your navigator window. Once you click on the OK button, right? Once you select the file name, the navigator window will get open. This is where we can see the sample data. It is not loading the entire data. Okay. The total number of records are different. Whatever you see is different here. Here we see only the subset of the data, not the entire data. With this, you can just take a look at this. By looking at this, if you find any issues and if you think this is not the data that you want loaded, simply you can cancel it. Rather than allowing the Power BI desktop to load a bigger data file, let's you know, to load 25 million records, it takes 4.5 to 5 hours. After loading the data, if you go and see it, oh, this column has, this is the wrong data, man, I don't want to use this one. That is not the right way of doing it, isn't it? Before even load the data, it shows the sample data. With that, you can check, is this data useful for us? You can see that NA is there, but majority of the values in this column are having value in it, but only few columns we can see NA here. This is okay, but we can see negative values. But in the sales column, we can see the dollar mixed with it. It needs some kind of treatment. Overall, this data is good. Now I'm going to hit load. For loading the huge volume of data, make sure that you are loading the correct data, because here you don't have time. If it takes 4 hours, 5 hours time to load the data, after loading the data, if you realize you loaded the wrong data, again, when you start load data, 8 hours is over. And you may have to end up staying in your office for 24 hours. Look at the data are being loaded now. Let's wait for some time. Look here on the right side. This one we already discussed. Okay, the table, it got considered as a table. Fine. If you go to data view, you can see the data for this. All the things you are familiar already. And what I do is I go to the transform data and I hit the transform data. Menu here. It takes me to my Power Query. That is where we are going to do the ETL, data transformation. But simple data transformation, you can do it without writing any script. Like in Excel, how you do it, right? The same thing, you can do it. But here, you can do advanced thing also here. Little advanced transformation, okay? But if you want to do a complex data transformation, then it is, this is not the best fit, okay? For example, here I just know if I think this column is not at all required for my reporting purpose, right click on it, remove it. Like I said, guys, don't remove a column from your data view itself. Here also you can remove it. Right click on it, and or you can remove it, but don't ever do that mistake. Okay, who knows, later point in time you may need this same column back. In that case, if you delete a column here, you can restore it back. Okay, fine. Order all the columns are fine. What I do is, today we are going to learn something called manage columns, and not manage columns, reduce columns. Okay, reduce rows. Reduce rows. Here we are going to learn keep rows and remove rows. Okay. In today's session, we are going to look in the next 10 to 15 minutes. It's very interesting one. Please concentrate. Okay. Here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the reduce rows. And I'm going to click on the drop down option that is available next to the keep rows. Keep top rows, keep bottom rows, keep range of rows, keep duplicates, keep errors. If I click on keep top rows, for example, you wanted to view or in your data set, you wanted to, use the top 100 records only or top 10 records only. Rest of the data, you don't need it. Let's say your manager is sitting next to you. You want to do some kind of ad hoc analytics. What do you mean by ad hoc analytics? So all the reports you created it, apart from the reports, task, whatever you need to do it, he came up to you. Suddenly you found something wrong. What he says, he come up to you, he doesn't know Power BI, Power BI. He comes up to you. Hey, Arsha, can you display the top 10 records and show me what is happening? Just for data exploration purpose, okay? Hit okay. It display the top 10 records. You want to see here, hey, very good. Because I don't know Power BI, please help me. I want to be the top 20 records. You can do it this way. And then you can scroll towards the right side and left side and see, are there any problem with the data? Everything is fine. Okay, fine. So what you do is next one is, okay, hey, can you show me now top 20 records? Again, you don't have to go here. What you do is, you remember the applied steps I told you at the beginning, right? So whatever the transformation that you do, the steps that you carry out here, that one will get recorded here. What was the step that we carried out? Keep first 10 rows, right? Look here. And if you click on this step, and you can see that removed columns from the first n 10, which means top 10 records, you display it here. Okay, now he's asking me, hey, top 20 records. Here itself, you can go and modify the script, script. Press enter, it can display here. And if you are not familiar with, this one, you can go next to this step, the wheel icon, click on it here. You can go back to the same thing and you can say, 30 records. I want the top 30 records. This is also possible. And then he says, okay, he explored everything. Okay, amen. You remove this step. Click on this, the cross thing, right? Click on the cross and you will get all the data back. Yes, exploration was over. Now you want the original data back. Yes, you removed that step. Now you're all set. Okay. Next one is bottom 10 records. Keep only the last 15 records. The last 15 records. Hit okay. We'll show from the bottom, right? Last row is this one. From the bottom, you show the 15 records. Yes. And you just go scroll down. In the real world scenario, we will be doing it this way, because if you wanted to, let's say you have 25 million records are there. And if you keep scroll down and to find out any issues with data, right? It is a time-taking process. Rather, what you do is you take top 100 records and see the pattern. So can we see any missing values? Can we see any missing values in the data set? So by doing so, look here in the postal code, a lot of missing values are there. Okay, and the next one is the discount is fine, and the quantity and discount seems to be good. Okay, so these are the columns I'm going to use in my report. Okay, this column seems to be reasonable. But here I can see that the shipping cost is 8.2. Is that correct? Okay, so many questions will come up to your mind. And then you do again the same thing. If you click on it here, if you want to view the 25 records, is that the same case with 25 records? And look at the discount column here. And then it's a very interesting thing, right? And the discount and shipping cost seems to be 8.22 and 8.2. Okay, with this you can conclude that it is not wrong. So maybe based on some slab, they are computing the shipping cost. It is varying it. If it is 8.22 across the rows, then something wrong. Okay. But it is varying it, it is differing it, then it is fine. Okay. So by exploring the data, these are the things you will get to know. You need to be familiar with the data. Try to be familiar with the data. Don't be very particular about just creating the report, the jazzy, fancy report. Make sure that you are familiar with the data also. Okay. Understanding the domain is also very much important. Okay, you are done with your analysis. Now you understood how to be the top 10 or top 15, top 100, bottom 100 records with the reduced rows. Okay. And the next one is keep range of rows. Now he is asking your man assisting, okay, man, top 10, bottom 10, or top 100, bottom 100 you have shown me. Is there any way, Arsha, you can show me from 11th record to 20th record? Can you show it? So what you do is you go and say here the 11 and 20th record. Okay. Your first row is not this one. In this case, it's 11th row. Okay, 11th to 20th. 11th is Martin kitchen. The last one is Martin and kitchen. Where is the kitchen? Yeah, this is the one, right? Where is the kitchen? Yeah, the kitchen. Okay. It is showing the rest of the data also. Okay, let it be there. Likewise, we can specify the range of also. Yeah, 10 to 20. Yeah, right. So 10 to 20. Or what you do is 10 to here on a start from a specific row and till the end of the row. Okay. For example, I want to see the 20 records, right? Yeah. It shows only 20. Very good. Starting from 10th row to 20th 20 records you display that is also possible. That is what your keep range of rows. Okay. I wanted to view the alternative rows. How can I do that? Just give it a try. That is an assignment for you. Okay. I just want to display the first record, second record, third record, fifth record. Is it possible? Just give it a try. Okay. Next one is the keep range of rows. Oh, sorry. This is what we have seen it. And next one is keep duplicates. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this step. I got my original data. And here I have all the data in it. Okay. Good. Now what I do is I just go back here and find out keep duplicates. For example, you want to find out are there any duplicate records are there in this data set. So what we will do is very good. So now we have Control A option is available. In the previous version, it was not available. Okay. Control all the columns, you can select it at one go by pressing Control A. Okay. And now I just go here and then keep rows, keep duplicates, keep only the duplicate records. Compare each and every record. Look here in this record, all the values look similar here. Same day, same day. There are duplicate records are there. As part of my exploratory journey, I found duplicate records are there. And then I'm going to remove it. How do I remove it? That is the next step. That is where you have something called remove rows. Okay. So with the help of this one, without writing any script in SQL, you need to write a script. Okay. You need to use your brain, write a subquery, and then you need to find out the duplicate records. Here, you don't have to break your head. Simply click on the keep duplicate. It shows you the duplicate records in your data set. That's all. You're lucky. That's why we consider, low code, no code tool. Okay, duplicates are there. Now we've explored it. I'm going to, click on this one. Now I understood I have some duplicate records. Okay, good. So next one is in case of any errors are there in my data set. I want to check. Do I have any errors in my data set? Nothing is there. Very good. My data is good. It is free from errors, but it has a duplicate records. Next step, I need to address the duplicate records. So here you have given a remove top rows. You click on it, like keep top rows. If you specify 10, for in some cases you want to remove the top 10 records, then keep 10 records, remove 10 records. Okay, if you want to remove the top 10 records. If you remove the bottom 10 records or 100 records, everything is all these options. Again, remove alternate rows, like keep range rows, right? This one also you can use it. Remove duplicates. But make sure that before you click on this, all the columns are selected. Click on remove duplicates. And then let's see. Okay, now it removed the duplicate. 1 second. What is this? Remove columns. Okay, I removed that column and then I removed the duplicates. Now I go back here and then keep duplicate. Now I'm going to check after removing the duplicates. Do I have any duplicate records? Nothing. Very good. I have addressed by removing the duplicate records. Very good. For the next step, I just go here, remove blank rows. And before that, I just go and check, okay, here we don't have any blank rows option available, right? Okay, ideally they could have kept it here also. Probably we can suggest to Microsoft. So here you have something called column quality and column profile. You need to click on the view ribbon. We have some column quality. Look here, with this one, when you select this option here, it gives you the percentage of valid, percentage of error, empty record in each column it displays. With this, we can see that almost all the columns we have some empty values are there, right? This way we can find out. Ideally, what they could have given in this itself, right? Keep rows itself, keep blank rows. They could have given it, okay? But it is not there. Okay, fine. So now what I do is, so we can see that with the help of any of them given some alternative, the column called empty is less than 1% is there. That means one blank record is there. What I will do is I just go back here to my home ribbon and here I just go and click on the remove rows. Before I do that, what I do is I have another option called count rows. I just clicked on the ribbon, transform ribbon. I'm going to click on the count rows. 25,001 record is there. Okay, I'm done with it. I'm going to undo this one. Click on the cross next to that. Fine. How many records were there? 25,001. So now what I do is I just go here, remove rows and remove blank rows. 25,001, 1% blank value, 1% we found blank rows, right? Now you see empty 0. So now our data is somewhat clean. We remove the blank records. All the columns we had, I just show you this one. I'll undo this one. There is another alternative you can find with the blank record. You click on in the drop down here. In any specific, you can see the blank here, right? And then you can unselect everything, select only the blank, and then click on OK. This is another way of finding out the blank records. How many blank records are there? Blank records is all the column, no values are there. Null, 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 null. This record is not helpful, isn't it? So better I wanted to remove it. I'm going to select all the records. And the best option is 1 second here itself it is there, right? Remove columns. Okay, I remove the column filtered. Okay, this is the one for remove duplicates. Okay. So after you remove the records, we will go and check the count. 25,001 should be now 25,000. That means it removed one. No, empty is still one is there, right? I need to do it again. Okay. I think I removed the step. I go back here and then click on this one. See, first we checked, right? Since we don't have option like keep blank rows, smartly what we are doing is we are going to select only the blank value from this one. With this, we are able to understand, hey, there is one blank record. This needs to be removed. If I remove this, how many number of records we are going to be left with? 25,000. Okay, I'm going to click on remove blank rows. Okay, I'm going to click on transform ribbon, click on count rows. Let's see how many record. 25,000 should be very good. We have removed successfully one blank record and we have removed the duplicate records also. Very good. And we have removed the unwanted column. Very good. We are done with this part, the keep rows. And this is what I planned today. Okay. remove errors in case of any errors or other. You remember any of we checked with keep errors option. We did not have any error record. Hence, we don't have to do anything with that. Okay, we are done with data preprocessing some extent. Okay, the next thing is data type. So data type issue is there. And if you look at this column here, order date column, and you can see in the Power Query Editor next to each column, this icon is there. Okay, and if you click on this icon, you can see what all the data types that are available in Power Query. You can see it here. Okay, this icon, the ABC and 1, 2, 3, this tells us, this gives us an instant idea about what data type each column is all about. What data type assigned to each column. 1.2 is decimal data type. Profit is, this is fine. Shipping cost is also decimal data type. Very good. Quantity is 1, 2, 3 integer data type. And ABC, sales is the cost for the concern. It is not a ABC. It is not a text data type. It needs to be considered decimal data type. But first, what we'll is we'll change the date data type. Okay. Ideally, here the calendar, it should be date data type. It is not a ABC. I can go ahead and click on the date here. If you click on this, it shows the data type. If you click on the data type, it will get converted. For example, if I click on date, this one will get converted data type. For example, here you can see the icon. Look here, the icon got converted as a calendar type. But it converted the data as date data type. But there are some records we could see. There are some values we can see error. So I'm going to undo this, and that means it requires some kind of treatment. What treatment? If you look at this data very closely, in this first row, your month, date, year column is there. How do I say this is a month, date, year? Because in the middle, I can see 31. If it is 12 and 31 is there here, then I can say that it's a date month. But here 31 is there, obviously the month, date, year format. In US, the date format is month, date, year. Remember, MMDDYYYY. Okay. This is fine. If I come back here, maybe this one was same. But here, the format is not consistent. Like I said, Southeast, SE. This is also another example for inconsistency. In the order date column, the values, the delimiter, the forward slash. With this forward slash only, we can understand this is a month, this is date, this is. If you don't have this one, how will you understand, right? If you see something like 7312012, without this, you will see that one, right? So this is kind of a delimiter. With this forward slash or hyphen, we can quickly make out, oh, this is a month, this is the date, and this year. With this forward slash, and again with the combination of common sense, we can make out this is a month, date, year format. But the issue here is the first value they use forward slash to distinguish which one is month, date, and year. But in this case, they've used the hyphen as a delimiter to distinguish month, date, year. Either they should have used forward slash for all the values in this column, or they should have used hyphen for all the values in this column. They're using mix of values. That is also the reason why it is causing the problem. How I'm going to address it? I'm going to click on the order date column. I keep the cursor somewhere over here, right click on it, and I'm going to click on the replace values. In Excel, the same thing is available, right? Same as Excel. Here, what I do is I just type hyphen. I want to replace all the hyphen by forward slash. It is up to you. You can replace the forward slash by hyphen. Yeah, in that case, you put forward slash hyphen. I prefer all the values should be delimited with the forward slash. I'm going to hit OK. Now you can see that all the values got replaced with forward slash. Very good. Next, I just click on this icon, all the data. I can click on either date, time, and date. I'm not going to rush. Instead, I'm going to click on using locale. Please remember this. Because with the month, date, year, it is a United States format. And here I'm going to specify the date data type. And it is not a India date type and India date format, English United States. Now you understood why I chose locale. Okay, different country, they use different date format. Okay, this is month, date, year format. Hence, we need to set it. That is the reason why I clicked on locale. I did not select date or date time. I have selected using locale because I want to tell Power Query, hey, this is a US date format. Okay, fine. Now, if you click on it and you can see that the calendar icon, with this we can understand the date data are assigned correctly. Very good. Similarly, in the sales column, I'm going to keep the cursor over here, right click on it. I'm going to replace the dollar by blank value, nothing. See, if it is nothing, remember that in the text column, if you leave blank, that is not a blank, actually it's empty string. It replaces the dollar by empty string. The dollar went off. Okay, good. And then if you scroll down, you can see NA, right? So what is NA? In Power Query Editor, if it finds any blank value in a numeric column, it will put NA. So, if I convert the decimal number data by now, it will throw an error because the NA is there. Right click on it, replace. For the time being, we are going to replace the NA by 0. Ideally, we need to check why in the sales column, these records have blank values. Anyhow, they said for the timing, you put 0 and then you build the report. Later point in time, we will, we will take a look at it and then fix it. Okay, fine. No, but still it is a text data type only. You need to click on it. You need to click on decimal number data explicitly. Only then Power Query Editor will understand, oh, this column needs to be converted. We are done with enough thing. Okay. And other thing is like, I'm going to select order date. In this column, I want to extract year alone and then show it in a separate column. How do I do that? How do I do that? For that, I'm going to click on the add column ribbon and then date menu. In this date menu, you will find something called year, right? If you click on year, only the year alone from this column will get extracted. Look here, 2012. Similarly, if you want to extract only the month alone, you can do it. I'll show you another example. And here in the date column and the day here, I'm going to extract name of day. Even the name of day also you can extract. If I ask you 31/7/2012, what day is that? Is that a Monday or Tuesday? You need to go and check the calendar. But here you see here, in a matter of jiffy, it gives you this one. Okay. So just by pointing and clicking it, you are able to do the data transfer. But behind the scene, look here, these are the M language script got generated. We don't have to write M script for everything. All you need to just point and click, you do whatever you wanted. But if you want to do a complex data transformation, obviously you need to, you need to be good at M script. But like I said, in the real world scenario, all the huge volume of data are stored in SQL Server, Oracle. In that case, you have to use the direct query only, but you cannot perform all these kind of transformation. It has limitations. Obviously, most of the time we use stored procedure or views in the SQL Server. That is the reason why you should be good at SQL queries also. Good? Understood? SQL queries and writing stored procedure, stored function, all the things. Okay, we are done with this. Okay, I'm going to click on file and close and apply. We have three options here. If I click close, all the transformation, whatever we did it will not get applied to my model. What is model? If you click on this, I can remember. This is one I'm talking about it. Okay, it will not get applied. All these things happen in the memory. So this data get loaded in memory. And whatever changes that you do it, that you did it in the memory only. But you need to write it permanently to this data here. Okay. For this, you need to either apply or you can close and apply. So in this case, I don't want the Power Query Editor any longer. I'm going to close this. And when I close it, it automatically, if I choose this option, when I close this, it apply all the steps, whatever we carried out so far, that will get applied to your model. On the right side, whatever you see it, right? These are your steps. These are the steps. There are some steps carried out automatically by Power Query. There are some steps carried out by us. Later point in, if you wanted to know what is this, which column I removed it, and remove duplicates. Okay, I removed the duplicates. So what is this step? Removed columns. I removed a column here. I remove row.id. So this column I removed it, okay? And replace, what value I replace it, okay. You go and refer it back later point in time, the steps, whatever you carried on top of the data under this applied steps. Very good. And now what I do is I want to make these changes, whatever I did it so far. I want this to be permanent. I'm going to click on close and apply. My Power Query will get closed. All these steps will get applied to my model data permanently. But remember that if you look here, row.id column, I removed it in the Power Query. And since I closed and applied it, here also it got removed. If you go to the model and if you see the table, you will not find the row.id column. Or next to the order date, you can see the calendar icon. Very good. It applied all these steps, whatever we carried out. Very good. But the real scenario, real world scenario, you will see a lot of steps in the steps, right? Just beneath the steps, lot of steps you would have carried out. Okay. As of now, you understood what is ETL. We have done the data pre-processing using Power Query Editor. Why? Because it has a lot of options. If you want to extract only the name of the day from a date column, you want to convert data type, and if you want to remove certain things, right? Everything is possible. If you want to do undo any step, that is also possible. If you want to get back the column which I removed, you can go to the Power Query editor and then remove that step. You will get back the row.id column. But if you remove the column here, you will not get it back. Hence, it is recommended better you do the data transfer in Power Query editor. But guys, don't be content that you learned many things, but in the real world scenario, because of the huge volume, we do it everything in the SQL query itself. But in the interview, they'll ask all these questions. Okay. Hence, you should be knowing it. But supposing they give moderate data, in that kind of situation, this is very much helpful. Power Query data. Okay. Okay. With this, I'm going to wrap up. Any questions so far? Hope you found today's session helpful, right? Okay, what I will do is for the time, okay, I just